What's up everybody, my name is Javis, and today we're going to talk about something I know you want to talk about, and that's 3 ways to get yourself recruited to the school you want to go to. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, some of the things I go over on this channel are everything from health and fitness to talking about the ins and outs of being a D1 player and everything that has to do with recruiting and everything in between. So if you guys are interested in that type of content, go ahead and subscribe and consider being a part of this community. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, I gotta say, before we get into the main meat and potatoes of the video, I want to go over with you a point that I want to share before we do that. And that is that you guys need to be working hard to get these scholarships because they don't come easy. That means working out Monday through Friday and working out every day without taking a day off. It takes a lot of work, and that includes running and lifting, not just lifting and not just running. It takes both because to be a good football player, you want to be well-rounded for these coaches. All right, let's get into the first point. Alright, so my first point is to be proactive in your recruiting. That means getting on social media, having a presence there like Twitter or Instagram or even Facebook in some ways. And then jumping into things like emails and finding coaches' emails and sending them emails. Be a professional in your recruiting. I see all the time coaches posting things on Twitter saying send us your film, but I only see so many replies, and that tells me that a lot of people aren't taking that opportunity to get seen in front of a college coach. And while sometimes it may seem abysmal if there's 100 or some replies, it's not always gonna be as easy as, oh, they won't look at it. Coaches look at film all day, and it's important to understand that. Sending an email with an interesting subject line, something that will catch their eye, would be something better than sitting at home and not doing that. You're being proactive in your recruiting, and it's important to understand that not a lot of people are doing this, so you have to be different than other people. And I think you know that as football players and even other athletes. If you're doing things that other people aren't doing, then you're more likely to get that attention from a college coach in order to try and get yourself and your film seen and have them actually interview you and allow them to see who you are as a person. In a lot of your guys' cases, it may seem kind of like a job trying to get your emails and get your Twitter mentions all out to these different coaches across the country, but it's important, and it may seem kind of like a job, but that's kind of what it is. You're being a professional with your recruiting. You're trying to take charge of your own situation and be in control of it so that you can have a good decision on where you want to go to school. Back in high school and even JUCO, I was probably sending out 200 emails a week, maybe more, just to try and get myself seen by these different college coaches. Understanding that it can be a little bit of a hassle, but that's the price you're paying for trying to get yourself seen by all these different coaches. Even back in 2015, when I was still in high school, I was sending out letters and actual like flyers on myself describing what kind of player I was. I was doing everything, you know what I mean? So I was just trying to get myself seen by these coaches. I'm just trying to elaborate the kind of work it takes to try and get yourself in front of these coaches, because sometimes it can be really hard to get behind those closed doors that they stay behind. Now, if you guys are going to take anything away from this video, take this. Making and promoting your highlights is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself in your recruiting process. I can't stress enough how important and vital this is to just doing something that takes probably an hour of work. Now, I could probably make a whole nother video on this subject on how to make highlights, and to be honest with you guys, I probably will, because it's really important deciding what type of highlights you put first for different positions. But a general rule is put your best highlights first, please. I'm begging you. And a lot of coaches are very specific on you wanting to highlight yourself first before the play starts so that they can see your first step or how you move immediately out of the play and your burst. It's all very important. So understanding those key little things for general rule. This is a general rule for most positions. So understanding that is going to be a key player in getting yourself recruited and making sure that you have the best chance to get that scholarship that you're vying after. And now the final tip I can give you before our bonus tip is very, very critical, and that's understanding depth charts. And that's not just, oh, I'm on my high school football team, I'm first string, I'm second string here. No, I'm talking about how many positions a coach has in his roster for college at a position. So if a coach has 7 running backs, they're not going to really need to recruit more running backs, maybe 1, and that's if they're going to give him a scholarship. They're going to recruit for what they need on the team. So if you really want to go to somewhere like, say, Portland State, for example, say they have, I don't know, 6 quarterbacks on their roster. It's not really gonna be good for you if you're a quarterback to put all your effort into trying to get to Portland State, especially if they're just not seeming interested, because they already have their players that they need. Now, unless you're like the top of the top athlete in your class in the nation, it's pretty hard to get yourself into a school where they already have a good amount of players at your position. It just isn't viable, and you're wasting your time when you could be going to a different school who might be more interested in you because they graduated maybe 2 or more quarterbacks or 1 quarterback, and they're having a need at that position for either a JUCO transfer or a high school kid who needs a place to land. And that's important too to understand, is that these coaches will recruit differently at high school and JUCO, and I'll go into this in a different video. But it's important to understand that you need to understand your situation and where you're coming from, whether you need more development at high school level or whether you need to get out there and get on the field now and be ready to go as a JUCO player. Now, I promised you guys a bonus tip at the end, so here it is. You guys need to understand that your name is your brand. It's what you sell yourself as. It's how you present yourself to these coaches. So when you go on social media and you go through your email and they look you up and they try and see what kind of a person you are, a person that they're recruiting to their school to represent their team, you need to understand that they're not going to take someone that they don't like what they post on social media. And in some cases, post what you want, because a lot of times you need to speak up for what you believe in. But other times, some of the stuff you can keep off social media and keep yourself what is known as brand friendly. And that's important too for understanding that coaches aren't going to want players who are posting bad things. Essentially, it kind of sucks in a lot of ways, but that's just the name of the game. It's about representing the team, and they're not going to want you to post certain things. But there's a whole nother argument that could be made for the opposite of that, and that you should be able to post what you want. So I'll just say be careful about what you post. I won't say that you should restrict everything that you post. Alright, thank you guys for staying to the end of the video. I'm thinking about streaming in the future and doing some Q&As, so you guys can ask questions about anything we talk about in this video or in the future, or really anything else. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and post that in the comments down below. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe and like this video if it helped you with anything that you need to know about recruiting. Make sure you click that little bell button so that you can get an update anytime I post a video, because we're going to be posting a lot more on this channel and making sure that you guys know what you need to know about the recruiting process and about football and about what D1 players eat. So if that's important to you or any content like that, I can answer any of those questions in the future in future videos. Just let me know down in the comments below as well. Thank you guys again, and goodbye.